Like working with Frank is a big one for me. That's the thing that I think about a lot. Just being up in the farm and um, waking up at like 5 in the morning and Don Mario driving me up in the taxi and me like falling asleep in the taxi and then getting there and Frank greeting me with like a cup of coffee um, and just like some good conversation.
We were like doing these patrol walks, and it was like in the middle of the night, and we were going to perform this play for
Oh yes.
this like elementary school. And I just remembered this, like I haven't thought about this in forever, but we had planned this play, and I still have some pictures on my phone of like people with their face paint, and like they were the toucans, and we were going to do this like this environmental play for this elementary school in Spanish. And I remember walking on the beach, just writing this play as we were like just like talking it out verbatim. It's always been a motivating factor to me ever since my time at the bridge. Is like I see people suffering, I read about the world, I take in the world, I see these inequities and unfairness and whatever, and I want to do something to address it. Well, I think the bridge allows you to slow down a little bit and say, hey, we're going to actually practice these things. We're going to actually practice cooking. We're going to actually practice cleaning. We're going to practice working. And it is practice working. Like, you're not working 9 to 5 usually. You're not working every day. You're practicing.
Culture that I was able to experience, having my like worldview just completely like blown open and expanded to understand like what it meant to develop my own opinions and thoughts and different perspectives and different ways of experiencing the world. Even if you were to stay in the US, like you could have that difference in perspectives, but I think when you travel abroad to a different country, it's just like much more in your face.
If you surround yourself with amazing people who are searching for the light, and are really just putting their best foot forward in life, then inevitably it's going to rub off on you. If you become someone who values things, who has virtues, your definition of what a friend is becomes more and more refined with time. You're not being forced to do, tremendous, daunting tasks, but someone's basically giving you a set of instructions and saying, like, if you follow these, you will see results and you will improve. And the closeness with the people that you're working with, the fact that like, oh, this person's not putting on some like therapeutic, authoritative facade, this person's just being themselves and just helping me, because they're a good person. I think Costa Rica provides like just a priceless sort of detox from that culture.
It was but just going to college, going to Veritas, and it was an instructive experience. But I do remember like having a sense of like, man, this is hard. This is hard. Like I'm in the taxi, I'm going to the university, and it's a trip and it's a trek, and I'm studying, and it was difficult. It was really difficult. But it was that sense of like, but I'm getting through it though. Like I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So if you can maintain sobriety, it's so important because, there's always going to be ups and downs. Like I didn't get sober and have no mental health problems, right? I still have depression and anxiety and issues like that. But I find that like if life's kind of a roller coaster, once you maintain sobriety, like you can appreciate and learn from the downs in a way that is very difficult to do if you're not sober. So I'd say like showing curiosity, planting those seeds of responsibility, and throwing yourself at problems, and connecting with people.
Like the freedom level, because at the bridge, there's a certain amount of freedom you get, but then there's also a schedule that you stick to, and it teaches you kind of what you're gonna have once you get out of the bridge in like real life. But it always taught you to be aware of how much money you're making and saving, because like if you are looking forward to doing something, you want to make sure you have the money. So it's your awareness of how much money you're making, spending, and putting aside money.
When you think about it, when you're leaving the bridge, when you're graduating, you're in a good spot in your life, and you're able to recognize that you can get more out of that experience. But the entire time leading up to that, you were not able to. So it's unfair to tell yourself, oh, I should have done this better. Well, you graduated, you got to the end, and you are better. An important thing about that support structure is you can't really elevate yourself if your support structure is not elevated as well. You've got to support your support structure. You've got to give more than you take, in my opinion. And that's one of the easiest ways to feel good about myself.
I don't know, talk to the guy at the stall and just actually have a conversation with him like you'd known him for years, and then you'd see him the next day, and then you could go again. And it was just like all these small things that kind of added up to feeling like you could try new things and have a good time trying new things. And if they didn't work out, they didn't work out, and there was plenty of other things to try. Like I was an English teacher at a one-room schoolhouse for a class of 12 kids ages 6 to 12, right? But then there was Daniel, who was making guitars, and then there was Caleb, who was just doing construction. Like he was just like having a great time, just getting ripped and doing construction. You can kind of make the bridge what you want it to be, and if you don't want to be there, you're not going to make it anything, which I definitely did for a little while. It's a sandbox. You can make it however you want it.